It's already week 8 and I'm still behind with all my work.
Last week I had 3 midterms, this week 2 pieces that are already late.
And now I don't even know how to start this Bio 86 Cell Slam video. So much to do and so little time. Ugh.
Being a college student is so hard.
This is your average Stanford student. From the outside, it may seem as if they have it all figured out. But once you take a look inside, it's not what it seems. Let's take a look at what goes on inside the body. In response to intrusive thoughts of not being good enough, the pressure of succeeding in a highly competitive environment, heart rate goes up, blood pressure rises, blood glucose levels increase. The body's experiencing the flight or fight response. The SNS, or sympathetic nervous system, activates adrenal glands to produce epinephrine, a stress hormone. The muscles are tensed up, contracted due to skeletal muscle cells taking in glucose that is produced by the breakdown of glycogen.
This is when the legendary Gpcrs, or G-protein couple receptors, come into the pictures. These are some of the most important and largest family of cell surface receptors. They mediate responses from external signals or ligands, such as hormones like epinephrine.
A ligand binds to a Gpcr, inducing a conformational change and activating it, allows the G protein to dissociate from the receptor. Simultaneously, the alpha subunit dissociates from the beta and gamma subunits. The alpha subunit relays the message by interacting with other proteins. In this specific pathway, G-alpha binds to and activates adenylyl cyclase. Once adenylyl cyclase is activated, ATP gets converted into cAMP, which is a secondary messenger that directly binds to target proteins. cAMP binds and activates pKa. The structure of pKa is important to understand. pKa can be in 2 states, active and inactive. pKa contains a total of 4 subunits, 2 catalytic and 2 regulatory. When cAMP binds to the 2 regulatory subunits, they dissociate from the 2 catalytic subunits. When the catalytic subunits are free, they are active and become kinases. It triggers a phosphorylation cascade. In skeletal and liver tissues, pKa phosphorylates and activates another kinase called phosphorylase kinase. Next, phosphorylase kinase phosphorylates and activates glycogen phosphorylase. Glycogen phosphorylase converts glycogen into glucose 1-phosphate, which is needed to produce energy in the form of ATP in our bodies. This glucose is sent into the bloodstream. If stress persists, the adrenal glands release another hormone called cortisol, increases appetite,
Hence, stress eating. Ideally, it's not good to be stressed all the time. Sooner or later, you need to chill. The epinephrine-induced response needs to be terminated. So what does chilling really look like inside the body? So remember, the G protein alpha subunit, or G-alpha, is a GTPase that can become inactive when it hydrolyzes its GTP. This is enhanced actually by a gap, also known as GRS, which continually turns off the G-alpha when it's in its GTP-bound state. This step returns everything to baseline when G-alpha reassociates with the beta and gamma subunits. That way, the Gpcr can be reused and reactivated for finals week, when we need it the most.
Wait, how does the response terminate if there's a lot of camp floating around in the cell? Oh, cells are quite remarkable, you see. Active pKa has a mechanism to shut itself off. pKa also activates an enzyme called phosphodiesterase, or PDE, that rapidly degrades camp into AMP. Because of a low concentration of free camp in the cell, the regulatory subunits of pKa lose their camp, which makes them reassociate with the catalytic subunits of pKa and shut off their kinase activity. This is also known as a negative feedback loop.
Remember that when you are stressed, not only does your blood sugar increase, but so does your heart rate, since blood vessels are contracting. This is possible because that same ligand, epinephrine, leads to different effects in the body, depending on the different Gpcrs it binds to, as well as the different target proteins that pKa can phosphorylate. Pulling 3 consecutive all-nighters isn't a badge of honor. It's okay to try to sleep 8 hours a night. Stay calm, take care of yourselves, and be realistic with what you can handle.
Or else.